Chapter 9, The Judas Project. The Judas Project, named after the apostle who had betrayed Christ, was no closer to its goal than it had been 10 years ago. For its founders, Judas was a symbol, a man who had seen through the deception of Christ and acted to correct it. But unlike Judas, they would not fail. They would not allow history to repeat itself. Christianity, Islam, Judaism, faith itself, had enslaved human progress for millennia. Science had been forced to claw its way forward, shackled by dogma, suppressed by popes, imams, and rabbis who preached ignorance as virtue. That was why their mission had to succeed. The plan was simple: cut off the head of the serpent and the body will die. Destroy Christ and Christianity crumbles. Without Christianity, the Abrahamic faiths unravel. Without faith, reason prevails. It would not be easy, but time itself would soon be within their grasp. For years, the anti-prophets had worked in secret, small elite teams operating in the shadows, recruiting scientists, securing black market funding, bribing officials to look the other way. But progress had been slow. Their theories on time travel, whether through holographic reality, quantum mechanics, or dark matter displacement, had yielded breakthroughs in theoretical physics, but nothing practical. And so they changed strategy. They went public. They turned their mission into a movement, selling it as a revolution of the mind, a new era in human evolution. Kickstarter campaigns, TED Talks, university lectures, celebrities, Silicon Valley elites, and extreme liberal factions flocked to them, pouring in money. The media, desperate to be on the right side of history, elevated them as pioneers. And then, the final stroke of brilliance. They registered as a religion, the religion of no religion. Their tax-exempt status became an impenetrable shield, allowing them to funnel billions into research without oversight. Public figures hailed them as visionaries. "A world without gods is a world without war," one celebrity declared. Industries flooded them with donations, eager for tax breaks, eager to stand in solidarity with the future. And now, 10 years later, the anti-prophets stood at the precipice of something greater than a movement. They stood at the threshold of rewriting history itself. Eric Mallory entered the conference room late. Several of his top executives were already seated, engaged in hushed conversations over coffee and data tablets. Paul Clifford, one of his oldest advisors, sat near the front, reading an email on his phone. His face was tight with frustration. Mallory grabbed a cup from the table, pouring himself nothing, and took the steaming cup from Paula Barnes, a medical researcher, as she reached for it. "Thank you, Paula," he said smoothly, taking a sip. "Help yourself to another." She gave him a tight-lipped smile before reaching for another cup. Mallory took his seat at the head of the table. "All right, gentlemen, let's get to it. Tom, you said you had good news?" Tom Perkins, a biotechnologist, stood eagerly. "Yes, sir. We've successfully merged biological cells with our latest quantum computing chips." A pause. Mallory took another sip. "And that means?" Tom's voice rose with excitement. "It means we can integrate technology directly into the human body. No external devices needed. Our minds can become the interface." Paula, the social psychologist, frowned. "So, what? You're saying we can think our texts instead of typing them?" Tom grinned. "Not just that. We're talking full integration. Bioengineered chips coated with your DNA. No more phones. No more computers. Just thought-controlled technology wired directly into your system. You need to make a call? You just think it. Need access to encrypted data? Your DNA is the key. No passwords, no security breaches. Your entire identity embedded in your living cells." Silence settled over the room. Even Mallory looked intrigued. Tom pressed on, sensing the moment. "This is the future. A world where you don't carry devices. You are the device. Homes that respond to your thoughts. Transactions made with a neural impulse. Music streamed directly into your auditory nerves." Paul Clifford shifted in his chair, unimpressed. "And how exactly does this get us closer to time travel?" Tom hesitated. "Well, it doesn't. Not yet. But," Mallory waved a dismissive hand, "then it's secondary." Tom's shoulders sagged slightly. "It's still a breakthrough." "I don't care." Mallory interrupted, his voice cold. "We have one mission, one goal. Until we succeed, nothing else matters." Tom swallowed hard and sat down. Paul cleared his throat. "Actually, there is something else. The IRS is investigating us." Mallory's fingers froze on the rim of his coffee cup. His eyes flicked to Paul. "Repeat that." Paul hesitated. "The IRS believes that, despite our religious status, we're more of a business entity. They're moving to revoke our tax exemption. The room tensed. Mallory set his coffee down, rubbing his temples. We've been here before. They've tried this before, and we shut them down before. Paul nodded. Yes, but this time they're getting bipartisan support. Mallory's eyes darkened. Then we will remind them why they shouldn't push us. The room was silent. They all knew what that meant. The anti-prophets had power now. Influence, resources. One well-placed scandal. One strategically leaked story. One ruined career, and the problem would disappear. Mallory exhaled, then straightened. Let's not waste any more time. This meeting is over. I'll handle the IRS. The rest of you, get me progress on time travel or don't bother showing up next week. The room emptied. Mallory remained seated for a moment, staring at the untouched coffee cup in front of him. 10 years. 10 years of effort. 10 years of science pushing against the walls of the impossible. They had built fortunes, changed the world, broken down the very notion of faith itself. And yet time refused to yield. But it would. One way or another it would. And when it did, God would die.